Welcome to season 6 of the Breakthrough Show, Breakthroughs Around the World, conversations with 40 guests from 40 different countries, acknowledging our similarities, honoring our differences, and celebrating our connection. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, the creator of the Breakthrough Show Network. For season 6, episode 4, I am excited to welcome back one of our very first guests for the show ever, and she has been a regular, if you will, coming back several times to share about different breakthroughs. I consider her a personal friend. She's my squirrel friend, and I'm super excited to have her back here today. Lucinda Harman is a TEDx speaker, international speaker, and coach. She is called the growth strategist for her ability to motivate and coach others beyond their limits to life excellence. She is called the powerhouse in the UK for her dynamic and highly engaging, if I could English today, you guys, training. I'm so excited to have her back on the show today. Please welcome, representing the country of South Africa, Lucinda Harman.
Hey, Jessica, nice to be joining you with the end of our day and the beginning of your day.
Yes, yes, very excited to have you here today, and to have you back. I'm always excited to reconnect with people who have been on the show because I need to keep up with you guys. I need to know what is going on in your world, and you always have such amazing things to share. I would love for you to start out by sharing about South Africa. What are some of the things that you enjoy about your country?
Thank you, Jessica. We kick off the ball, and what South Africa like is rugby. So we're kicking for the goals. South Africa is really about great. I mean, the weather is beautiful. It's a beautiful country. Very, very much a tourist destination because of the wildlife, as well as lovely weather. I mean, yes, we have winter, we have cold, we even have snow, which is like a rare, which most people don't understand. But we've actually got incredible weather and actually very friendly. When you go away and you come home, it's the one thing that you see that you realize you miss elsewhere is that smiley disposition. Quite a warm nation in its own right. A lot of difficulties South Africa does have, but as being what they are called as before, the Rainbow Nation, we have a lot of diversity. And in many ways, it's a miracle that this country is where it is and it has survived the way it has, with there being so much diversity. And that's why I thought that this show really fitted well with actually discussing it and relation to South Africa. South Africa has been a light to many countries. How do people embrace adversity and diversity? And it really does fit into this particular topic today. Thank you.
You're welcome. You mentioned that in when we talked previously that you said people rise in force against government and oppression. Do you find that people come together there when there's something that they don't like and they're able to come together and sort of fight against things?
You just have to watch what happens in the media.
Yeah.
I think people are realizing their power now more than ever. So we had more what you call the African, the Black people. They used to very much were the oppressed and learn to rise and really start to force for transformation change in South Africa. But of late, you can see now people of all race groups are starting to realize they've got a voice and the power of numbers. So your politicians only take up so many seats. But if your numbers rise, your people rise in force and in numbers, like we saw with our massive civil unrest last year in June, as much as there was so much bad happening in the country, you had people rising and blocking off places from destruction, putting their lives on the line. You saw a lot of South Africans, good people, standing up and saying no more and taking action when the government wouldn't. These people were like Gift of the Givers, who on Beacon of Hope, the one event I did, who are basically looking after South Africa, healthcare, are looking after the welfare of people, are making sure people have water, things that people should have. It's your human right to have water and to have power, electricity, which in South Africa we don't see. There's a lot of people suffering way beyond, unemployment, poverty. It's really, really, really hectic. And I see in South Africa, more and more people are realizing their power and their numbers, and that whatever happens, their vote matters, number one, which we didn't see in the last election, where the public or the man in the street had way more influence on that election. But how many people didn't even go to the election because they're feeling despondent with the government that they had voted in before? And so it's entered a whole nother realm, really, where people are realizing with this COVID vaccine, which we're not going to go too crazy about because we don't feel like all of that conflict too. It's amazing how in South Africa, one of the countries where the voice was very, very strong, it became a thing of resistance and people taking action, forming Facebook groups, forming movements. I don't think I've seen South Africa come together and away from race, away from religion, away from all those things that divide people. We saw people come with one voice. And that to me is a very exciting thing to watch, actually, in reality, when you see it happening, especially the civil unrest, that good people brought that civil unrest to end where the government was doing nothing. And it was the civilians that actually stopped all the bad stuff happening. Some of it just happened so fast that people couldn't get a grip on it, and there was massive devastation. But there were some amazing leaders that rose out of that civil unrest. Wow. Leaders today that have a voice and are opposing government are, they're not scared now because they realized when they stood up and the people stood behind them, they realized the power of what they actually have and their leadership ability.
I love to hear that because I think we're seeing that in a lot of places around the world right now of people coming together for different causes. And even if we may not agree with whatever causes are going on, it's nice to see people come together. It's nice to see people stand up against larger organizations that are trying to have control. And so I really love to see that. And so I love to hear that that's going on in South Africa as well. I'm excited today to get into some more chat about breakthroughs with you, Lucinda. So we're going to do that here in just a moment. So you have been on the show several times and have shared about many different breakthrough moments. We've talked about you being a TEDx speaker. We've talked about lots of different things. And so I know that you had a point when you lost it all. And I would love for you to share a little bit about what you were going through at that time in your life.
Thank you, Jessica. It's like going back in time, looking over your shoulder, and like when you asked me earlier, I'm like, do you have to go back there again? But we have to go back there again for the show. It was 3 years that I literally lost, from my job to an agency I took, and I got roasted on that agency, never got commission, and that came to an end, and I couldn't get back. I tried selling from moonshine, as all you Americans would know, moonshine. That is undistilled whiskey. I didn't even went and did that for a while. But the truth is I had to sell my home, which would have been seen as an asset. I sold my car. I had to eventually drive a bicycle. Thank goodness I had a bicycle. But it really brought me to my knees on 3 years, folk. Not 1 month, 3 months. People moan about having a job for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, whatever. 3 whole years. And I felt every part of those 3 years. And there were most mornings where I didn't want to get out of bed. I just wanted to go back on the duvet. There was no purpose. I had no purpose for life. And I was scrambling, trying to find that purpose, taking up, upliftment coaching and Oh man, laughter coaching. I'm trying to think what his name is now, but I became a laughter coach and upliftment coach. I did care clowns. It was so many things. I even created a board game that I recently have found and started marketing again that time.
Wow.
And there were so many things that happened in that time. And I remember really being broken and really going to that point of, do I give up now and die? And I remember that one day that I actually decided that night, I don't mind if I die. Just take me tonight. Just take me. I really think I'm done. I can't do anymore. I felt humiliated as a driven person as I am. No matter what I did, nothing budged. And there was just no signs. There was nothing. It was just sitting within my pain and my humiliation from being somewhere that could do anything. Ran Bell's Whiskey, a huge big 3-year campaign for Bell's Whiskey with the PGA of South Africa. I mean, I've done big things in my life, and now I'm humiliated to nothing for 3 years. And that morning, I woke up and I thought, why are you alive? And are you still alive? And that is kind of where I picked myself out of that moment of saying, I'm not going to be that broken person anymore. And I've got here for a reason. And yes, I've lost pretty much everything. But I'm here, and today I'm going to find out my purpose. And it was that day that I decided I'm going to get up and make a plan and turn this entire disaster and devastation around. And so, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, I started at the time, Voice Your Power at the time was kind of active. And I kind of felt that emergence and, how to come back. In a country like South Africa, there's no protection, nothing. If you lose it, there's nothing. You don't get help. You don't get bailed out. There is absolutely no dole and softing and like we get in first world countries. This is rough and raw. If you go down, you get kicked to the ground, and that's it. And it's a fittest survival of the fittest. And, it takes huge courage, huge strength, and you've got no support around you to get back up and to make it happen. There was no one holding my hand. It was just about, I'm going to do this. That person, that magic, that stuff within me is going to now make it happen. And that I think was one of those breakthrough moments of life, where you made that decision to carry on no matter what.
Do you feel like there's something within you, Lucinda, that enables you to pick yourself up from such a low point? The reason I ask this is because, we're all faced with different challenges in our lives, and you could have two people. You could have somebody else who had been in your shoes and who decided that they were done and to take their life. Like, do you think that there's something within you, or is it like a collection of maybe tools that you have that you feel like helped enable you in it, or just something about you that is a determined person?
Yeah, I think, I'm very determined and very willful. And there's an inner strength that's come and courage because of the lifetime I've had. It's not an easy lifetime. And it's because of a lot of very bad things from a very young age that I had to only be dependent on myself. I had to go in and get my resources from within myself because there was no one and nothing there to help and protect me. And I think it's that kind of stuff that, and you're right, I think if it was any other person, maybe not, but, the person I am today, I'm extremely strategic because of the choices I've had to make under pressure. When you're between a rock and a hard place, which I face more than I wish to, it's about having that will to survive and believing in that purpose. No matter how murky it gets, you still know that there's something left for you to do. There is a driving force deep within you. My dogs at that time were a huge driving force for me that, I didn't want to leave them abandoned or whatever it might have been. So that was kind of my one saving grace. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much more for me to live for. It always has been not what you think. It's always been my own inner determination to, get up, get that other day. That TEDx at the time was real. That was one of my also driving points to get up. that dream of the TEDx. So there were a lot of things that to me I create, almost like I create reasons to live. And then I know even when other goals and other things have been taken away and things are not going right, I still have a dream on the board. So at the moment, my next dream is now the TED stage, and there's a speech I'm working on the moment because I'm living through it. It's a very deep speech or talk. And, it's about all the time now putting things in place that if things don't go quite according to plan or things are lost in the way or whatever they are, you've got a project, you've got a goal, there's a purpose out there, there's something you're meant to do. And I think that is something, if one could keep an eye on that, focus on something that you really, really want in your life, I think you're going to get up and you're going to rise. You're going to get up for another day.
Yeah, I absolutely resonate with that because when I was going through, the time that I was really struggling with my health, I just remember every day waking up and going, I have something to do today. I have something to do today. I have a purpose. I have something I need that push me through. And even in my challenging moments now, I remember that. And I don't know if you've seen it. There was a documentary film done called Heal. Did you ever watch that?
Mm-mm.
There's this program Heal. It followed different people through their journeys. They had things like cancer and some pretty serious illnesses in that. And one of the things that helped all of those people heal, what separated the people from healing or not was this immense passion or drive or a purpose, something that they were working towards. And that's there's a list of, I think there's a list of 10 things or something like that it is suggested for people in order to survive health challenges in their lives. And one of those things is having that something to work towards, something to be passionate about. So I know you have the specific goal of being on the TED stage. And I remember, so listen, we're going to manifest this here because I remember when you came on the show and you were working for the TEDx stage, I remember that. And I was like, it's going to happen. So we're going to say it again. It's going to happen. So I know that that's one thing you're working towards. What else is really keeping you passionate about the work that you're doing right now in the world?
Yeah. What comes out the work that I'm doing at the moment, I mean, I'm busy in the middle of a process at the moment, my own personal journey. And that TED will come out of, it's really exciting stuff. It's going to be an amazing thing to work through. What comes out of that is maybe I will do some form of training coaching relating to that, but that's not here right yet. So my projects at the moment are, I'm actually called the Growth Catalyst, not strategist, Growth Catalyst. That hasn't changed on my website. And what I do is that power you have, that genius you have, that ability, that one thing you have in your world, which is igniting potential, igniting other people's potential. And that is how I'm marketing myself, doing the keynote speeches that I'm doing at the moment, and getting out into corporate, getting out into eventing, is very much about how do I help you where you are now, sitting, you're stagnating, you are just fitting nowhere. Like you don't have purpose, like you don't have a reason, you don't have a vision, you don't have a vision, a mission. You kind of feel like you're floundering. How do I help you take that all-important step in your life to get you where you feel and tap into your potential? Because potential is self-actualization, which is where you want to go. So that is where I'm tapping as a keynote speaker. From there, I'm training on the corporate front. I'm doing training for sales and sales teams. Really, when a team has gone flat, it's giving them the real skills, the sales, because I have been involved for 32 years in that. Really giving them what they need and the focus and the strategies and the skilling them up, getting them fit for their sales. And then the teams is really helping a team lift them up, empower them, ignite them back into action. So you can tap into that huge pool of potential. And they're probably only playing small at a certain part. So it's the same kind of thing called, with the growth catalyst, is really about being a catalyst for others. And the people don't like the word change, but a catalyst for others to unleash and to find that incredible potential that belongs in every single person here.
I love that so much because my word of the year this year was catalyst, and so I love that we are on the same page, my friend. Same page. You mentioned to getting people to start, like move and like take that next step and move forward. And I think with everything that's gone on in the world the last couple of years, there's a lot of people that feel frozen. And I admit that even myself, I have those moments of going, I almost feel like I don't want to do anything because I feel like, what can I do? Like, it's hard for me sometimes to get that forward motion going. If someone feels stuck where they are in their life, whether it's in their personal life, their business, in the world we're in today, what would you say to them as like that, the words that they need to just take that next step to move forward in their lives?
I love that question because I actually was studying with a neurophysicist the weekend. And if you say the word change, it's time to change, get up and make it happen, and someone's frozen, you just worsen their frozen condition. And it all comes down to word usage and how you must entice them, inspire them, motivate them, and take that courageous step in their life to take that one small step. And how do you get out of, you've got to warm that person. So it's not about breaking down the walls and smashing down and we're going to change you and you're going to change today. No, it's about engaging people into taking a step with you and going within their own heart of that yearning within themselves, and that finding that courage where they have done things previously in their lives and why they're stuck and what it feels like to be stuck, and really help them to find what is that thing that they really see in front of themselves. What is the kind of key things within their own lives that they feel that maybe they can't even access that in an extreme frozen state. But just to get them to get some form of confidence back within themselves, their own intuition, their own being, their own brilliance, magnificence within their own selves, and understanding that I take people through that one keynote I'm doing on the level 2 of Maslow's pyramid, where that frozen state feeds at sympathetic level of fight and flight is exactly where they're stuck. And the thing is, you can't go up any further. You can't invest in love and working on yourself and your spiritual self and actualizing and finding that potential and tapping into all that you are, finding your purpose and living your life while you're stuck. And when you start breaking it down into simple things, how did you get there? What happened? What is the trigger? And start to help people where they are with that trigger and start to help them gently find that way within their own lives. But hard tactics doesn't work for someone that's stuck. They need warmth to thaw and to warm them slowly. You can't go from frozen to fired up. I work on fired up, and I've learned I've had to go way back and learn how to just gently, melt that ice and help people melt through and find their way. And all the time holding that light for them, knowing that they have an incredible potential. Everyone's so unique. There's nobody that doesn't have potential. Everybody does. I think the sad thing is that so many people die with trapped potential they never tap into.
Oh, that I love how you just described all of that just then, because it makes me sad as well to think about the potential that we all have, and some people just never get there. Do you feel like it's like, a lack of, like you were talking about, tapping into yourself and all of that? Do you feel like maybe there's a lack of resources, a lack of tools, a lack of community? Like, what are we missing that I feel like we're missing something here,
We are so conditioned.
Yeah.
We know we are when we're born. And then the world tries to tell us what they think we should do and who we are. That's the real problem. And no matter where we're living, in whatever world, whatever conditions, whatever things are the latest status quos, what school you go to, college, university, your friendship circle, your family, your whatever it is. I love the media that tells us all the time how to live and how we must do it.
Yeah.
And we always feel like we're failures because we are shown fake book, which is fantastic, tells us everything why we don't have a lovely, happy life, but we don't have the truth behind. I think that is my TED coming up, which is really about getting to the root of that beautiful, soft, vulnerable side of yourself, that part that we don't want the world to touch because we're protecting ourselves like you can't believe. We've just built layers and masks as we've defended through one trial and tribulation after another. From childhood, one thing, and one thing more we did. And the thing is, we got further and further away from the reality who we are, and the pain was too much to bear. And so we just build those walls, build those masks, build those layers of the onion, and we stack it higher and higher as we go, thus losing connection with our own being and the truth of who we are and our potential. So we end up so far away from that almighty potential that exists within us because we're scrambling to just keep ourselves safe because we're protecting ourselves. And that is on that level 2 again, is safety, protecting ourselves from a world that often dictates to so many people and labels and boxes and whatever people so much that we're not allowed to just be free spirits, free human beings. There's always, you're owned by a name or your car you drive or where you live or whatever it might be. And there's so many things around us that we're allowing people to dictate to us. And we're more and more disempowered by things that go around us, rather than understanding our own strength and keeping that calling. But we're vulnerable, we're young, and we think those are teaching us and leading us and guiding us, that they're there for us. And it's a rude awakening when you realize that maybe they weren't, and they didn't have our best interests, and we were living out their dreams, or we were living out what they wanted from us, and they had an agenda. And that is such a thing. How many people have to look at in life? Am I living my life, or am I living someone else's life, and I'm doing it on their account? Is what I'm doing as a career, is what I'm doing in every facet of my life because of me, because this is my calling, this is in my heart and my soul and my spirit? Or am I doing this to please others? And this people pleasing is another game trap of note.
Yeah.
Because people want to be liked. And this is where it all starts. We want to be liked. We don't want to be outcast. We don't want to be named the black sheep and the weirdo and the freak and the jerk and the nerd so we must be hip. We must be cool. Just throw that side of ourselves aside and come in. Woo! I'm so happy. I'm just cool. I'm ace. But meanwhile, inside, there's something screaming. And so we keep going. And that's how we get to this desperate state where we are in the world right now.
Yeah.
The amount of mental illnesses today, or a reason behind it, is because people have lost connection with their own calling, their own selves, their own purpose. And we think we're doing what we're meant to do most of the time, and we are doing the best we can. We really are doing the best we can.
Yeah.
We're just not tapping into that vast pool of potential, which is everybody's right and is with everybody. There's nobody that doesn't have huge tracts of potential that need to be mastered and need to be harnessed.
Yeah. You were talking about conditioning, and and I think this ties in a little bit, one of the conversations that I've actually been having with my teenagers lately, and I'm also seeing a lot of other conversations about this happening, is with labels. We see more and more labels coming out all the time for different, it doesn't matter what we're talking about here. There's just all these, and people are so quick to be like, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, and grabbing onto all of these labels. And And instead, like, and I said to my daughter one day, I'm like, can't we just be whoever we are? Do we have to have like a label to identify everything? Can we just be who we are and be authentic? And I think that I feel like for me, what I'm seeing is this innate desire for people to belong, which is what you're talking about, of kind of like this people pleasing and wanting to fit in. And I'm wondering if you've seen that as well, like just this whole thing with labels and people wanting to label everything and embrace labels because I see it again as a desire to fit in, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I put a post up the other day that labels, I think it's Martina Navratilova's quote, labels are made for clothing and boxes. They're not made for humans. And it's people's way of controlling others and manipulating. And we want to downsize people so we feel safe. And at the end of the day, I can have conversation with someone who says, oh, you're such an extrovert, and you are this, and you are that, and you fit into this, and you that, and what. And I go, no more labels. I don't want to be a label. I just want to be myself. Oh, but you are. No. I might do that. I might be a Virgin Active member, but I'm not only a Virgin Active member. Let's use that as a very clear, out the way, no one get in trouble with that comment. But I'm not just a Virgin Active member. I am many other things. I do many other things. I've taken up a new sport now. Oh, now you are that sport. No, I'm not that sport. That is one thing I do. I am a vast human. And the more people can realize, they can stop the labels, star signs, nationality, language, gender, sexuality. There's just so many. And I mean, when you start doing these tests, like I've been going now for this interview process in management, they do like so many tests on you, and you get like 4 different assessments back on you, and they're all relating to something different about you. One is character, one is a team, your ability to work in team, one is your management abilities, one is and they're all different. And you put them on the table, and then you get this exact conversation. You realize that when people come and say, you are this, no. When you look at the criteria, there are huge things that you are. And that's why we lose this word potential. Because potential is like everywhere. It's abundant. It's prosperous. You can't catch it, and you can't put it in a balloon like helium.
Yeah.
Potential it's expanding. It's vast. It's extraordinary. And it's bigger than the human eye. And it's bigger than our limitations. And we get fooled into being limited. And then being told, no, but you're not worth more than that amount of money. Or, what gives you the right to think that you can rise to some level? Or what thinks that you can buy a better house? Or whatever we want. And I realize this now with my training now as a trainer speaker, because I'm increasing into the financial realm within that. And the biggest thing I always say is I say in the beginning, how much does a top trainer or speaker charge? And they go, how long is a piece of string? Like, but that's not a good answer. Because it's a very good answer, because it depends on your mindset. What do you believe you're worth? And what are you willing to charge? And are you comfortable with it? Because it's only your limitation that stops you from tapping into your potential of everything that you can be. So if you believe that you're only worth, I don't know in dollars now, what we're going to say $2,000 a month, right? You believe I'm worth $2,000 a month, and I give you $50,000 a month, you're going to go, and you're going to freeze, and you're not going to perform, and you're going to fall back into smallness. So it really is about the smallness is the limits and the boxes and the labels. And you've got to say, I'm bigger. Every time Pump is a label, sorry, I am way bigger than that. Or I have got so much more than that. And oh, wow, do you know about who I really am? So I think it's about all the time not buying into the labels and not saying, thanks, I don't want it. It's like someone's got a sticker and they're about to stick it on you. You go, nah, thanks. You can put it in the rubbish bin. You take it away. Thank you very much. I know about one of my million aspects of life.
I love that. We've talked so often on the Breakthrough Show Network across several different shows about being multifaceted humans, and that every circumstance is multifaceted as well. So it's really beautiful to hear this sort of this perspective from you about labels as well, because I think it's important for people. I think this is how we're going to move forward as a society, when we stop shoving everyone into a box. And maybe that's the Aquarian way, Lucinda. Maybe that's just us being the Aquarians that we are, and don't put me in a box, don't put a label on me, and now let's go change the world. I would love for you to share, Lucinda, what people can find when they go to visit you at lucindaharman.com.
Yeah, that has changed. Like I said, it's actually the correct site now is the Growth Catalyst. If you go through it, it really is about what I offer. So it's about my offerings, services. It's about who my clients are. It's got galleries of pictures. Those pictures are spectacular. It's pretty much like a magazine show of my life. All the events, all the training, the groups that I've led. It's really, very, I love looking at my gallery. When I have a down day, I look at my gallery to light up my life. So it really is kind of having a quick look. It also explains what I do, what fires me up, my vision, kind of like my purpose in this lifetime. And then, give you an idea. But as I said, I now go under more the Growth Catalyst, which you can get its own website, thegrowthcatalyst.co.za. And always on Facebook. There's plenty happening there with all the gigs that I'm taking part in. There's some more international exciting ones about to pop. So there's some good ones coming up.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com. Well, I've loved having you back on the show today, and we've been ending each episode with 10 quickfire questions that I'm asking everyone that comes on the show this season, just as some fun things, ways to bring us together and also to learn a little bit about you. Are you ready, Lucinda?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's do it. All right. What is your morning beverage of choice?
Coffee.
All right. When are you most productive?
Late at night, probably between 10 o'clock at night to midnight.
All right. What season is your favorite?
Summer. Hot.
No, hands down. That was it. What is something you're learning right now?
At the moment, I am learning intensively. I'm doing a masterclass on marketing, my training, and my speaking, and really, really open the doors to income, to really monetizing my potential, my goal that I have for the world. So it's really, really working a lot of mindset, and then mastering from online courses right through how to get keynote speeches at top places, and how to get yourself out there in an unapologetic way. I guess that's where you put it. But
Yeah.
that's the one that I've got at the moment.
I love it. All right. What were your best and worst subjects in school?
Worst was physics. I blew up the laboratory. And my best was geography. I love, like, I want to know what's going on with everybody else in the world. Like, freaking hell. I want to know, like, landscapes and countries and that country. And like, geography was my number one.
Very good. All right. What scares you?
What scares me is dying without tapping into my potential. Dying without actualizing what I'm meant to do this lifetime, and wasting time. I don't enjoy the fact that there are delays in things that happen, because then I look, I don't want to get to that day. So that scares me. And also dying, it's one of my things about South Africa we haven't tapped into.
Yeah.
With a third world country, I don't want to get old here. No ways. It scares me getting old, the mercy of people who won't look after me, and I want to be in the best care when I get older. I think that is probably one of my biggest worries, and ever losing it all again. Ending up destitute the way I was, not good. I'll do whatever it takes. These days I work 16-hour days. So I never want to be at the destitute level. I don't want to die at the mercy of people who won't take care of me, and literally, making me lie in feces and urine like we see for like days without being cleaned, and no humility. I think that those are kind of those, and knowing in your final moments that you've wasted time and you haven't done everything you needed to do, and you didn't fulfill what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Those three.
All right. So have you ever been in love?
I was asked this question the other day. I think it's the same as, what is love? How can you emphatically tell me what love is? Do I think I've been in love? I think so, from my point of view.
From your perspective.
I haven't been with Emma very long. I'm not a Jessica who got married, and I don't even know how long we've been married for. I did, like, look, Jessica, yes, Jessica, married for, you're Jessica. What's 17 years, Jessica? It's, I look at that with such awe. It hasn't been my reality. I haven't met someone and had a long-term kind of thing. It's my life has been very much more of an isolatory kind of a lone venture than I think it's a question that, in our own thought process, it might be love. The more I discover about myself, I'm asking myself, was it really love? And finding more and more what possibly love really is all about. So I think it's a very broad thing. It's like, how long is a piece of string?
Yeah. I agree 100% with perspective as far as that question as well. What inspires you?
What inspires me? Seeing people really come into their own. I just love it. I love seeing people, the work, whatever I work with a team, or I work with people, and watching them grow and tap into that potential and literally take off. That is like the best thing in the world. It used to be about my growth, my success. It now is about others' growth, others' success. That is way more. Your growth, your success, it's lovely. Others is just something, and the fact that what you've given to them, that they've taken that and they've made it their own. and the smaller things that inspire me, travel. I mean, I love just knowing other people from other places. I love it. I love being on Zoom and connecting across the world, because it inspires me to find out about all of everyone else, what they're up to. That's why we have connected always, because we've had that thing about, you and I delight in enjoying other cultures and other things that are around us. So yeah.
I love that. Now we know you work a lot, but how do you enjoy your downtime?
How do I enjoy mine?
How do you enjoy your downtime? Like, what do you do in your spare time? If there is any.
I love going to, I said Virgin Active, definitely. The gym is my place. I don't know, a lot of people go, huh? It's my downtime. I'm very, very fussy about my gym time. It's not very easy to have a conversation when I'm there, because I'm like, this is my time.
Yeah.
I have a lot of time, right? Because I'm on my own. So I have quite a lot of time. My downtime is to give my dogs time, take them walking. Every day we try and walk. I try and walk them. Going to gym. I've just taken up orienteering now. It's those things that I'm an active person. I love the physical realm. So it's doing things for me in downtime. You won't see me reading a book. That's not pleasurable. That is painful. Hurts my eyes. You won't see me watching Netflix and TV, although I watch some Netflix when there's some series that are quite good, because I'm wasting my time here. So generally it's doing things, getting into the sun, getting out into nature, and kind of, if it's not my dogs, animals, it's nature, and what's the gym.
I love it. I love it. So which culture do you deeply respect and or want to learn more about other than your own?
Now that's a good question. And I don't know if I have the answer. I think if there was one culture, say that I could study something right now, it would probably come more to a spiritual thing than a physical thing. So I'm going to go with either the North American Indian, like understanding that spirituality, or it would be to the Aboriginal Australian. But I'm not very keen on Australia with their latest stuff going on there. So I think I'm going to go with North America. I would love to spend time with elders in the North American context of getting to grips with their culture, their customs, and their deep wealth of incredible spirituality.
I love that. And I agree 100%. And fingers crossed, we will be speaking to someone from that culture on this season of the Breakthrough Show as well. Lucinda, thank you so much for your time, for coming back and always sharing so vulnerably with us. And so much. I mean, you guys, I hope you were taking notes because it was amazing. Lucinda, thank you so much for being back with us today.
Pleasure, Jessica. I look forward to joining you again and coming back.
Absolutely. All right. Okay. We are going to have so many amazing shows coming up this season on the Breakthrough Show for season 6, Breakthroughs Around the World. I want to thank all 4 of our guests for this month of March who have joined us from Scotland, Iceland, Belgium, and South Africa. It has been another incredible episode today. I want to thank all of you for watching or listening wherever you are in the world. We will see you next week for another episode. I'm your host, Jessica Dukas, and I want to remind you to make every day a great day for a breakthrough. And we'll see you next time.